Okay, the Lord is still speaking, and now we're in chapter 39 in the book of Job. Now, for all of you people out there who have kids or lambs, however you call them, most people call their children kids, and some kids are stubborn. This might speak to you. Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you watch when the doe bears her fawn? Do you count the months till they bear? Do you know the time they give birth? I've had 8 kids. I know all about giving birth. And when it's time to go. And I remember going through the labor pains. Anyways, they crouch down and bring forth their young. Their labor pains are ended. Their young thrive and grow strong in the wilds. They leave and do not return. Yep, that's what happens. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they don't. Just the way families crumble. The cookie crumbles. Some kids, they choose to only think of the bad and the hardships and all the stuff that they went through and not the good. But that's sad. But that's your choice. So their young thrive and grow strong in the wild, especially here in the wild, wild west. And they leave and do not return. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who let that jackass go free? God, I can't believe we're letting certain people out of prison, which petty crimes like, just child molesters, that kind of crap. And then we're arresting preachers and putting them in prison. Because, they're breaking rules and gathering more than 25 people together, and, they could be considered intentionally trying to kill people with the virus. Man, people do some fucked up things when there's a pandemic going on. Sorry about my language, but pardon my French. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who untied his ropes? I gave him the wasteland as his home, the salt flats as his habitat. He laughs at the commotion in the town. He does not hear a driver shout. You do in New York. Not now, but you used to. Get out of the way! Honk, honk. Drivers shout. I shouted at some kids once. I went around the corner, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and these teenagers had ran out into the crosswalk and laid down in the crosswalk, and then popped up and was taken off. I had just come around the corner, and had they done that before I came around the corner, I could have ran over them. And so their behavior pissed me off, and I flipped my van around and found them walking, and I yelled at them to get the fuck home and quit acting that way. And they went running off. Anyways, he ranges the hills for his pasture and searches for any green thing. It's nice to find greenery. Will the wild ox consent to serve you? Will he stay by your manger at night? Can you hold him to the furrow with a harness? Will he till the valleys behind you? Oh, we all know about some certain male behavior, plowing those fields. At least over here in the Willamette Valley we do. Will you rely on him for his great strength? Will you leave your heavy work to him? Can you trust him to bring in your grain and gather it to your threshing floor? I told my kids once that I broke down the word oxymoron, because I've been called an oxymoron. And that would be ox, stubborn, E, little y, which is Spanish for and, moron, idiot. So I'm a stubborn idiot in some regards. The wings of the ostrich flap joyfully, but they cannot compare with the pinions and feathers of the stork or of the phoenix. I have a poem that I got published about pinions and opinions. It's called Wings, and it goes, shut your trap, he crudely clipped. Who cares about your opinions? I do, she cried and signified, as years of trapped opinions shot out her middle finger. Marriage dissolved, pinions restored, phoenix flying. And then I flew away and became a duck. And then I went skydiving and fell out of the airplane just to relive what it must have felt like being tossed down from heaven. She lays her eggs on the ground and lets them warm in the sand, unmindful that a foot may crush them, that some wild animal may trample them. She treats her young harshly, as if they were not hers. She cares not that her labor was in vain, for God did not endow her with wisdom or give her a share of good sense. I used to be called a flamingo. I used to be called a little flamingo. And then I realized I was getting things shafted to me, and I said, I'm not your ostrich. I think I've been an ostrich with my head buried in the sand instead. Anyways. Yet when she spreads her feathers to run, she laughs at horse and rider. Yeehaw! Do you give the horse his strength or clothe his neck with a flowing mane? Do you make him leap like a locust, striking terror with his proud snorting? He paws fiercely, rejoicing in his strength. Oh, those stallions. Gosh, there's some beautiful horses out there. Just beautiful stallion horses. And there's a woman who must have a spirit of Epona. I think she's possessed. She's a shaman. I can't remember, Utai. And she can make a horse sound and sing on a jaw harp. The jaw harp shaman. You can Google it. She's beautiful. He paws fiercely, rejoicing in his strength, and charges into the fray. He laughs at fear, afraid of nothing. He does not shy away from the sword. The quiver rattles against his side, along with the flashing spear and lance. In frenzied excitement, he eats up the ground. He cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. At the blast of the trumpet, he snorts, "Aha!" He catches the scent of battle from afar, the shout of commanders and the battle cry. Did you know horses actually enjoy going to war and getting, stabbed with swords and stuff? I didn't know that. I just thought they were I thought they were just afraid. They didn't want to die. Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom and spread his wings toward the south? Does the eagle soar at your command and build his nest on high? He dwells on a cliff and stays there at night. A rocky crag is his stronghold. I've been told I have rocky crags in my skin now. They're like getting craggy. I'm an old crone. From there he seeks out his food. His eyes detect it from afar. His young ones feast on blood. And where the slain are, there he is. Or there is he. That's the eagle. So if you've ever seen an eagle, they are fierce. Dang. That's why they're the symbol of America, because I saw one once. I took my kids to a zoo, and they had a eagle there, and woo. I'm like, mama. I wouldn't want to piss you off, because that's a mama look. Eagle look? That's a mama look. Like, what are you doing? Oh, scary. So, I wouldn't want to mess with an eagle. No. I wouldn't want to mess with a bear. And there's some women I wouldn't want to mess with. Sometimes just dealing with a 4-year-old is a handful. Depends on the 4-year-old.